Hey, this is Frank Nieta with Vision Quest Auto, and today we're going to be taking a close look and reviewing the 2024 Nissan Ariya Platinum E-Force. What that all means is this is the Nissan Ariya. This is an electric SUV, and one of the things that's really cool about this car is that it has all-wheel drive, and it's the top of the line version. So the Platinum basically means this is top of the line, and E-Force means this is the all-wheel drive version of the car. Every bell and whistle that Nissan can throw into this car is in this one. So we're going to be taking a close look at this. We're going to talk about some of the things that I like about this car. We're going to talk about some of the things I don't like about this car. We're going to see how it compares, honestly, to some of the more recent EVs I've driven. We're going to put this into some of our categories that we have, and we're going to take it for a test drive and talk about how this feels, how it drives, when all that good stuff. So let's get to it. All right, so we're going to do our walk around here of the Nissan Ariya. And the first thing you'll notice is this is a really interesting grille. There is really no grille. This is, shut off the way that you'll see in a lot of EVs. This isn't quite Tesla Model Y, but it isn't not. The shape is pretty much a Tesla Model Y, also a Volkswagen ID4 bit of a shape. These wheels are very, very much reminiscent of the basic Arrow wheels that you'll see on Tesla Model Ys. These are plastic. I don't think that they can pull right off, but you can certainly replace them, I'm sure. But they are made for aerodynamic mileage aspects. One of the cool things here is it's got dual antennas, dual shark fin antennas, which is kind of unique. It's also got this spoiler back here, which is, it's understated. It's unique. It's understated though, so it's not over the top. These lights are pretty cool, these tail lights. The logo, the Nissan Ariya logo is pretty cool. Not sure what to make of E-Force. I mean, I guess, I don't know how different that is from all-wheel drive. I didn't know. I'm not a big fan. I just say something's all-wheel drive. I think it's slightly confusing to people, but it's their technology. I'm sure that they're trying to push that. Again, this is a similar look on the same side. Here's your charging port. There we go. You just push it in, it pops open. Your standard ones. I do believe that this will be changing soon, 2025 or so. We'll start to get the NACS, North American Charging Standard, which is Tesla's supercharger network. So that'll allow Nissan to have access to the supercharger network. If you're doing a lot of driving away from home where you're going to be charging on the road, I would highly recommend waiting, honestly, till Nissan is fully on board with NACS and superchargers. You could also get an adapter. I would personally just wait, but I mean, I guess, see how the adapters work, but it's hard to go against the supercharger network. They're far more reliable. They're more reliable than all the other charging networks out there. They are more plentiful and more conveniently located than most of these other ones, these other chargers out there. So again, I would highly recommend waiting for that. If you're just driving from home, then sure, and you're not going on the road too much, you could go with this. I would still recommend waiting for NACS. That's not just with Nissan, that's with every auto manufacturer that's now going to Tesla. I do like these headlights, by the way. I forgot to point those out. These headlights are pretty cool. Really nice, sharp look. A bit of a Honda look, if you will, with those diamond style headlights. B seems to like this car. Inside, so this is where Nissan gets it way different than Tesla. I think that this interior is a big step up from what you get with Teslas. This has this really nice suede insert and then this leather insert. It's really nice. It's got some plastics here, but they're soft. This is a really soft touch plastic, rubberized vinyl feel. This is really nice. This is extremely nice. Nice metal. This may be plastic, but it's really hard plastic. It does feel like metal. Great switches that feel great. This kind of lattice work is cool. This lights up, so whenever you see like a little bit of white behind it, that's lighting up. The rest of it is speaker. I like the design cue where it repeats itself. Even in here, this is pretty cool. This wood-like trim. I don't think this is real wood, but it's pretty nice. Again, this suede insert going across the dash is really, really nice. Great touch. Love the colors. You know, I might have stuck with silver instead of gold, but it's not bad. You know, again, that lattice work. You'll see under here, that is a light, which is pretty cool. When when you're driving at night, you can see everything there on the other door. So this leads to pretty much I wouldn't say necessarily standout features, but really most unique features on this car, which is this center console slides back. You know, you just hold this button, it slides all the way back. It's not the fastest thing, but it's not the slowest. And that's how far back it goes. So the handy thing about that is that if you're sitting here and you've got this seat back further, the shifter isn't far away from you. The shifter can adjust with you. Or if you don't mind the shifter not being right next to you and you want a little bit more knee room, or you want some access to those cords, those outlets, that's a great way to handle that. And if you want it all the way up, you can just do this. Now, the cup holders are nice. They're big. I can fit a Stanley in there. So this is nice. I like that it covers it. This leads to, it does have a wireless charger, but not really any storage in this center console. Now, there is another part in here that is a really cool feature, and that is here. This is also really cool. If you can read out, these are actually touch sensitive buttons, and that'll have for your driving modes. That'll tell you if your phone is charging, and then it's got auto parking, the auto park feature, which I don't really use. And one thing I forgot to mention in the front is, again, how nice these seats are. You can tell too, there's a lot of room. I've got the seat. This isn't where I normally sit. This seat does slide back automatically when you open up the door. So I like that feature. I know some people don't. You can turn it off if you don't like it. I like that it has that easier exit and entry for you to slide back automatically. These seats are really soft. They have nice stitching, really, really cool look to them. You got your right here. I don't like it doesn't have a handle. You kind of bury your hand a little bit to get this down, but you got a USB-C and a USB-A outlet. Not a big fan of that. If you have two kids or two people in the back and they both want to use USB-C or both want to use USB-A, they're kind of out of luck. It also has heated seats, which is nice though for the rear. So really great interior. It's better than the Blazer. I think that it's pretty much the interior is better than what you're going to find in most other EVs that aren't luxury brand EVs. Good amount of storage space. You can tell I got my equipment back here. Let's move this up a little bit. This is the charging cord. And then a little bit of storage room. This is mainly for your tire system, to fill up your air in your tire. So not a lot of storage space underneath, which isn't great. One thing I do like is it does have the button to lock. Not every car does that, and I wish they did. If I'm lowering it, I'd rather you just lock it for me too. Starting this up is pretty standard and pretty easy. Just hit the start button right there, foot on the brake. And so the cool thing about this car is, one of the cool things that most people will note is you hit this open button, and look at this. This is where your center console space is at. You can slide this back, and I got pretty deep pocket. It doesn't look like the deepest because I got my phone in here, but that's a pretty deep pocket. It can hold most anything you have in most of your center consoles. And then you just hit this close. It's pretty nice. I really like it. One thing I will say, and I don't know the answer to this, so this is just me. I wouldn't say, well, you know, it's somewhat speculating here. I'm not sure what happens when the electronics go out or if there's an issue. I don't think that there's a backup. There's no physical buttons that I know of. I do wish that there was a mechanical button, and for that, I'm going to give this, our fat guy and little coat, something that doesn't quite fit. And I think that not having, there's two winners on this one, because I'm not 100% on this, but the fact that there's not an obvious mechanical or emergency way to open that up makes me nervous. I think that there should be. Every door that has these things in cars, these electronic doors, will have that feature. I wish that that was here. The other thing that doesn't really fit for me, that's a fat guy in little coat, is this. This is a forward back button. I don't even know how it works. I don't know why you'd put it there. I don't know of anybody who would want to do that. There's a touch screen right here when you have Android Auto or Apple CarPlay hooked up, and you know, if you have radio on, it's all touch screen. I don't know why you'd have this button. Also, it's right here. You can forward the tracks. You can change the volume. I mean, I get the volume. The volume's easy enough if you want to reach out for it. I don't get this forward back. I don't even know how it works, and I don't know why you'd have it there. It doesn't go one way or the other. So I don't know if it's like, you have to hit it like, you know, your earbuds, you know, where you tap it twice to forward and 3 times to rewind. I don't know how this works. I don't know why it's here. I don't like it. Is it a big deal? No. But I don't like it. I think it is cool. This is, you know, they're not physical buttons, but they're not, if that makes sense. They're haptic touch buttons, and they're always lit up, which is kind of nice. It gives that streamlined look. I think that that's something that it does a little bit better than Tesla. You know, Tesla has all that buried in the touch screen. I like that this isn't buried anywhere. It's out on the open. Another thing that I don't think gets a lot of recognition is, this is cool, man. I like this frameless look. I really do. And I'm going to give this our John Cena You Can't See Me award, because I like that you can't see the bezels on this. This is really, like, I don't think that Nissan probably gets a lot of attention for this mirror, but this mirror is really cool. Also, it does this. Look at that. Boom. You know, camera. I know that that's, you know, becoming pretty much par for the course nowadays. But again, it's always appreciated that this is included, you know. I do like that auto manufacturers, more and more auto manufacturers are including this. I just think that this is a handy feature. Also, I love the way that looks. So that is one of the most underrated, understated features for me. Another thing I've noticed is I don't think Nissan is as on point with their range estimates as OEMs from America are. You know, Tesla, Chevy, Ford tend to have much, much better range estimates. So this isn't too far off, but like, I mean, I drove 60 miles and it basically took yesterday, and it took 80 plus miles off the range. Some of that, you know, that was definitely because there was highway driving, but that's also a bit concerning, you know. I mean, it's 20 miles isn't nothing, man. You know, that's you know, that definitely factors into, oh, I got to stop to charge, whether it's at home or whether it's on the road. You've got to do that more often. And I wish that it was more on point. I've noticed that Ford is generally right on there. Chevy was the same way. Like, if it's saying this is how many miles, that's how many miles it had. It does the BMW style of turn signal. So, and I'm also going to show you something else that's kind of cool though. So you put the signal on that way. You have to, it's a return to center one. But the cool thing is, look at that. Look at the car, and you put the brake on, and look, the brake lights are on, the turn signal's on. That's pretty cool. But to turn it off, you have to push it back up. It's okay. It does do the quick 1, 2, 3. and then it's off. Like it's not bad, but I'm not a fan of return to center turn signals. It's just, I've had it where, you made a small turn and now you've got to try to fumble enough. It's distracting enough that I'm on the road that I really don't want it around. Yesterday I was driving toll roads and it kept telling, and I was driving in an express lane. And every time that I was going under an express lane, marker where it starts to record off your Easy Pass, it was telling me, toll booth ahead. And it's interrupting my music. And it's just like, again, is this something you can live with? Absolutely. But it's annoying, especially when it comes up in a really good part of the song. And your song's playing, you're hearing the chorus, and then you hear, this robotic voice. Warning, toll booth ahead. And there's probably some way to turn this off, but it's buried deep in the menus, and I've never really found it. I don't like it. So minor stuff, but it's annoying. One thing I like about this car is that it's got a very soft ride. This isn't athletic. Really, it's not athletic at all. Like it may have a sport mode, but honestly, sport mode doesn't matter. Might give you a slight boost in acceleration, but generally speaking, this car is really athletic. It's not sporty. What this car is just a very comfortable everyday driving car. It's not an athletic car. It's not made for that. It's, if you try to take a corner fast, it's gonna wobble. It's not made to be a fast car. It's not made to be an athletic car. It is out here for one purpose only, and that's to be a comfortable everyday driver. It's not quite a luxury car, but it's more akin to that type of feeling, if that makes sense. I think that this is a car that, for the most part, it handles everyday driving very well. Everything, you don't really feel bumps in the road. It goes very smoothly. It feels good. I'm going through some new road construction, and I'm not really feeling anything. It's a very smooth ride. When it comes to highway, it can pull very well. I mean, this isn't a speed demon, but it is an electric car, and it's got very responsive acceleration. So it does everything what you want. It's very easy to keep in its lane. It's not going all over the place when you're driving straight or you're just trying to make adjustments. Like, this is stay there for you. It's not a bad car at all when it comes to everyday driving like that. Again, if you take a tight turn, this isn't the car. It's gonna complain a little bit. You'll feel some stuff there. It's not, it's not the most responsive handling, but it's very good for what it does. This is kind of funny. We're behind a Cybertruck. I said that Nissan was taking off from some of the looks of Tesla. I think this is something that you're not going to see Nissan do. I don't see them coming out with their version of Cybertruck. Okay, so as I said, this is a comfortable driving car. That's what it's here for. That's what it's made for. Does that very well. Now, how do I compare this ride to some of the other EVs in its class that are similar to it? To the Blazer, I think this is less athletic than the Blazer EV. But in a lot of ways, it's more comfortable. It's got it's got a softer ride than the Blazer. The Blazer had a pretty good ride, but this is an even softer ride. So that concludes our review for this week. I hope you found it informative. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us. We're